Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Balavan Girivaradhare. Yasodanandana Brajajana Rajano. Yamuna Tirovanat Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Balavan Girivaradhare. Yasodanandana Brajajana Rajana. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Jaya Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vāsudeva Gaura Patīnām. Jaya Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vāsudeva Gaura Patīnām. Jaya Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vāsudeva Gaura Patīnām. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrita Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Chaitanya Manovistan Stapitanya Navutale Svayan Rupa Kadamayam Dadatya Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sutapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrahatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Chakripa Sindhubhya Evacha patīnām pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So we continue with the lecture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto first, chapter 15, the Pāṇḍavas retired timely. We read today the text 50. We start by the word in Sanskrit, if you want to repeat it. Draupadī cha tadā ājñāya patīnām anapekṣatām vāsudeve bhagavati hi ekānta-matir tam Draupadī cha tadājñāya patīnām anapekṣatām vāsudeve bhagavati ekānta-matir Draupadī cha tadājñāya patīnām anapekṣatām vāsudeve bhagavati ekānta-matir Draupadī cha tadājñāya patīnām anapekṣatām vāsudeve bhagavati ekānta-matir Matajis, Draupadī, the wife of the Pāṇḍavas, cha and tadā at that time, ājñāya, knowing Lord Kṛṣṇa fully well, patīnām of the husband, anapekṣatām, who did not care for her, vāsudeve, unto Lord Vāsudeva, Kṛṣṇa, bhagavati, the personality of Godhead, he exactly, ekānta, absolutely, matiḥ, concentration, God, tam, him, the Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, H.E. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Draupadī also saw that her husband, without caring for her, were leaving home. She knew well about Lord Vāsudeva, Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead. Both she and Subhadrā became absorbed in thought of Kṛṣṇa and attained the same result as their husband. Purport. When flying an airplane, one cannot take care of other plane. Everyone has to take care of his own plane. And if there is any danger, no other plane can help another in that condition. Similarly, at the end of life, when one has to go back home, back to Godhead, everyone has to take care of himself without help rendered by others. The help is, however, offered on the ground before flying in space. Similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relative, the husband, and other can all render help during one lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instruction formally received. There is one quotation in the Vedanta Sutra, the first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra, atato Brahma Jigyasa. They say, is now the moment to do spiritual progress. Similarly, the spiritual master, the father, the mother, the relative, the husband, and other can all render help during one lifetime. But while crossing the sea, one has to take care of himself and utilize the instruction formerly received. Draupadi had 5 husbands, and no one asked Draupadi to come. Draupadi had to take care of herself without waiting for her great husband. And because she was already trained, she at once took the concentration upon the lotus feet of Lord Vāsudeva, Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead. The wife also got the same result as their husband, in the same manner, that is to say, without changing their bodies, they reach the destination of Godhead. Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura suggests that both Draupadī and Subhadrā, although her name is not mentioned here, got the same results. None of them had to carry the body. That means they have not to change body, then go with the same body, go back to Godhead. And this is then participate in the pastime of the Lord. Subhadra is also Yogamaya. Radharani is Yogamaya, but also Sita Yogamaya, also Subhadra is Yogamaya. So then can get the Yogamaya organized all the pastime of the Lord. So then can go back to the spiritual world with the same body. But this is not our situation. That is past time. It's not our situation. We born and dead and born and dead. Srila Prabhupada say that born and dead is not past time. This personality who see God face to face, then Atmani, then are pure consciousness. So this is the text 50, and the 51 is the last slok of this chapter. I will read alone because there is no in the border. Yasradaya tad bhagavat priyanam pandho sutanam iti samprayanam surnotyalam svastyayanam pavitram lavadvaharo bhaktin upaiti siddhim. Translation: the subject of the departure of the son of Pandu for the ultimate goal of life, back to Godhead, is fully auspicious and is perfectly pure. Therefore, any who hear this narration with devotional faith certainly gain the devotional service of the Lord, the highest perfection of life. And the Purport, Śrīla Prabhupada writes, Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration about the personality of Godhead, and the devotee of the Lord, like the Pāṇḍavas. The narration of the personality of Godhead and his devotee is absolute in itself, and thus to hear it with a devotional attitude is to associate with the Lord and constant companion of the Lord. By the process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can attain the highest perfection of life, namely going back home, back to Godhead, without failure. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Purport of the first canto, 50th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Pāṇḍavas Retire Tamely. So we read in the translation, therefore anyone who hears this narration with devotional faith certainly gains the devotional service of the Lord, the highest perfection of life. In Bhakti Yoga, we have two factors to cultivate: tattva and lilas. And the Bhagavatam we have all the two, tattva and lilas. Tattva mean spiritual knowledge. And lilas is all the lilas. In the Bhagavatam we get so many pastimes of the Lord. So that is we must understand for the conditional soul. Everything is the mercy of the Lord, because we have so very little freedom. The only freedom we have is to employ the intelligence to do spiritual progress. But by Bhagavad Gita we understand the soul in the conditional state. The soul do nothing. This is sometimes devotees get difficulty to understand that. The soul do nothing. Is a passive performer. When the Bhagavati speak with his son, and she speak about the soul, she say a passive performer. How to understand that? Passive performer is completely opposite. Passive because the soul do nothing. In the conditional state, the soul do nothing. And performer because is the impetus of the activity. To give one example, is the battery of the car. If in your car there is no the battery, the car don't go anywhere. So it's the impetus of activity. But the battery in the car don't do nothing. And the soul in the conditioned state also. I am soul, okay? What I do now? I am just winner of this situation. Just that. Because the soul has perception, but do nothing. Śrīla Prabhupada say the activity of the living entity is a combination between the supreme with the interaction of the 24 elements. The supreme wind in combination with the 24 elements. In this 24 element is also, where is this 24 element? It's here, in everybody, the 24 element. In this 24 element is also the mind. It's also the guna. is also the material intelligence. So the mind becomes responsible of all body activities. For that we try by chanting every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By this song we purify the mind, because the mind is responsible of all body activity. If you are born in India or in America or anywhere, was by previous mind activities. So the mind must to become completely spiritualized. Yeah, the freedom we have, we can use the intelligence. But it's not the soul who uses the intelligence. It's not the soul who directs the intelligence. It's the consciousness. And the consciousness is individual. What that mean? That means the consciousness can be material or spiritual. If the consciousness is material consciousness, the consciousness utilizes the intelligence to do material business. If the consciousness is spiritual, the consciousness uses the intelligence to do spiritual progress. But it's always the consciousness who directs the intelligence. It's not the soul. The soul do nothing. So I break something, and you will ask me, why you break that? And I will say, I don't break anything. I am soul. I do nothing. This is not this is not, because we speak according with our eyes see. Bhakta Krishna Das, he do very nice service. I saw he do very nice service. But I don't see the soul. So how to see the soul? The soul we can see with the eyes of the Shastra. Shastra Chaksu. It's the only way to see. The material eyes cannot see the essence. And what is the essence? Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Sabdyate. This is the essence. But we cannot see that with material eyes. So when we understand, by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the Paramatma, we realize, we get this big jnana. We realize I am soul, and in the conditioned state I do nothing. In this moment I will understand everything is the mercy of the Lord. And we will appreciate more and more the activity of the Lord. If we are now here all together, it's by the mercy of the Lord. Yoga Maya. Just now we spoke about Subhadrā. Subhadrā is Yoga Maya. Also Subhadrā. Yoga Maya make all the spiritual arrangement. Radharani is the side merciful of Krishna. We see for the Brijavasi in in Vrindavan permanently repeat Radhe, 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 Radhe. Because we get the mercy of Radharani. Radharani is the side merciful of Krishna. So when we realize, I am soul and I do nothing. What I do here now, I am witness. I am witness. If I get guna influence, bad influence, tamas guna or raja guna, I will do many mistakes, confusion. If I get influence of sattva guna, the situation will be sattva. But who act in reality is not the conditional soul, is the gunas. Prakrita kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasya ahankara vimudama kartahamiti manyate. Ahankara vimudama kartahamiti manyate. By false ego, we understand, I do 5 years pujari. I participated in so many padayatras. I distributed so many books. But in reality, that is not correct. It's always the mercy of the Lord. Is the whim of the Lord in combination with the interaction of the 24 elements. On Vedanta Sutra, we read, even if the soul don't do nothing, you are responsible of your situation. If one time we come in the Mahatattva, was not by instruction of Krishna. We come in the Mahatattva because we want to imitate. We want to imitate the Lord. We want to imitate Krishna. There in the spiritual world, there is no duality. There is no aversion, also not. But Śrīla Prabhupada explained when we was in the spiritual world and we want to imitate the Lord, we developed consciousness of duality. There is no duality, but in our individual entity, we developed consciousness of duality. And by this consciousness, we generate aversion for devotional service, to serve the Lord. So, in this situation, the only place to go is the Mahatattva. Because here is duality, here is consciousness of duality. This is a wall of duality. So if we are now born and dead, born again, is by our mistake. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On the chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita 5, chapter 5, Five 5:14, I think, or 4:14, just a moment. 4:14? No, it's 5:14. Chapter 5, text 14. Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhuhu agyanena vritam gyanam tenamuyanti shantavaha. Translation. Nor do the Supreme Lord assume anyone sinful or pious activities. Unvoided beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers the real knowledge. In the chapter 13, chapter 13, slok 30. 1330. Prakrityaiva chakarmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yaha pasyanti tatmanam akartaram sapasyati. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and see that the self do nothing, actually see. I will read again. One who can see the all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and see that the self do nothing, actually see. If you think you do something, that is not, you don't see in the right way. We must to see according with the scripture. This is in the text 13, and in the text 32, again, Krishna touched the same argument. Anaditvam nigurnatvat paramatmayam avyayaha sarirastupi kaunteya nakaroti nalipyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the mood of nature, despite contact with the material body. O Arjuna, the soul neither do anything, nor is entangled. Sometimes we get big problem, but this is just mental. Also on the Bhagavatam, there is also when the Bhagavati speak about the soul and say passive performer. There Śrīla Prabhupada is the Bhagavatam 3:27-19. in the purport, Śrīla Prabhupada say, in the purport, Śrīla Prabhupada say we think we do that, I will do that, but in reality, unfortunately, Śrīla Prabhupada say, unfortunately, the soul do nothing. Someone in the mobile, the database, I have mobile, but not. Someone else, Sri Chaitanya Das, maybe you have. You want to read the. I hope that work. 327, 19. If you can read the purport, if you can read the purport of Śrīla Prabhupada, can you read?
Purport by Śrīla Prabhupada 327:19. Although the living entity desires freedom from the contamination of matter, he is not given release. Actually, as soon as a living entity puts
everybody understand? I hear very
as soon as a living entity puts himself under the control of the modes of material nature, his acts are influenced by qualities of material nature, and he becomes passive. It is confirmed in It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritehe kriyamanani guneha. The living entity acts according to the qualities of or the modes of material nature. He falsely thinks that he is acting, but unfortunately he is passive.
Oh, stop. This is what I say. Śrīla Prabhupada say, we think we do that and that, but unfortunately the soul do nothing. It's just the battery of your mobile. If your mobile have no one battery, that is margea. It's a body, died body. Yeah. This is why the Bhagavati say passive performer. We have 10 minutes. Maybe there is some question of comment. Yeah. What she say? Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for your nice
Hare
class.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, as we know that the subtle body, Mon, Buddhi and Ahankar, determines the subtle body determines the next destination of the soul. Subtle body means Mon, Buddhi and Ahankar. So what happens when you get the spiritual body means we're eligible to go back to home, go back to Godhead. What happens to the subtle body? Does it get spiritualized? Does it dissolve? What happened to the subtle body?
Yeah, what happened with the subtle body? 3:25:33. There is the answer. Jarayantiya Shuyoko Janni Girnam Analo Yataha. Devotional service dissolves the subtle body of the living entity like the stomach digests everything what you eat. Can you read? Is it correct?
Yes, Maharaj. Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat.
Yeah. We have just to perform service. This is not our problem. When you eat, you have not to do something to digest. Yeah. This is the example there is in the Bhagavatam. Without separate force, no? Without separate force. Devotional service dissolves the sati body of the living entity without separate force. The consciousness is the really identity of the living being. The consciousness is the real identity of the living being. By false ego, we can imagine so many things, but in reality, the consciousness is the real identity of the living being. For that, Śrīla Prabhupada found her, after so many years work, he found the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Because this is our identity. More the consciousness become spiritual, more freedom we have. That means we can use and more our intelligence to do spiritual progress. More the consciousness become degraded, less freedom we have. Ignorance is the ignorancia, I have to translate to English. La ignorancia es the ignorance is the cause of slaving. Understand? Yeah. But the consciousness is the real identity. And the mind is responsible of all body activities. So for that, the mind must to become a very good friend. Otherwise, it's a very strong enemy. And we have everything to make nice friendship with the mind. We have everything. Shastra, Guru, everything. We have all the parampara. We have Balarama, Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have everything. So what do we have to do? Just to perform devotional activities. And by devotional activities, the subtle body, we can digest. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I saw someone else. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
It's me. Yeah.
Yes.
Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. In the beginning, you were speaking about tattva and lila. Sometimes there is a tendency devotees just dismiss that this is the Lord's lila and we cannot understand this. But any Lord's lila can be explained by tattva. Prabhupada always explained Krishna's lila with tattva. So when we have the realization of the tattva, it's easier to understand the Lord's lila. But we cannot dismiss that this is just lila and we cannot understand, because every lila is supported by tattva. And we should try to understand the tattva before we can understand the lila. Otherwise there is a tendency.
Tattva?
Yeah, otherwise there is tendency to become sahajiyas, because the sahajiyas, they don't understand the tattva and they just jump to the lila. Just a small comment.
To understand tattva, we have just to accept it. We read today 2 or 3 slokas where Krishna say, the soul do nothing. And it's not easy to catch this. It's not easy to understand. But if you want to understand, you have, even if you don't understand, you must to accept it. Krishna say, the soul do nothing. Okay, I accept it. I will try to see how is that. If I accept it, the Paramatma will give me the big jnana. The jnana coming, information coming. We have just to accept it. I saw many devotees have difficulty to understand this two slok speciality, chapter 30, slok 30 and 32. But have difficulty because first get the surprise. How is that? I do 20, 30 years service, and now I read the soul do nothing. It's difficulty to understand that. So the mind start to look for another. There is one door, but I want another door. How to go out of this situation? Is the work of the mind, the false ego. How is that? Must be some mistake. Maybe we can take out the page, no? Then look for one solution. But if you, to be pure devotee, we must be simple, humble, and pure. If we humble, even if we don't understand, we accept this instruction. We put the mind there, and we try to understand. Krishna give, maybe not in the same moment, but Krishna give you the big jnana. Maybe after 10 years, but he's the best friend. Suridam sarvabhutanam. He gives the big jnana. So, to understand, we must to accept that. Don't give any opportunity to the mind to do different plan. Srila Prabhupada say we must to learn how to disobey the mind. And like that she become a very good friend. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The devotees ask me to be right time is Vaishnava etiquette. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Thai Gaur Premanande. Thank you for your attention. Hare Krishna.